John Bundy's children, John Louise. And so he's very, very shy. And he gets into fantasy. And he's living this fantasy about these beautiful women and all of this, but he can't go on a date because he's too shy to ask any girl out. And now he's in University of Washington, and he gets dropped by his girlfriend. And so you've got bitterness starting to develop. You've got a lot of increased loneliness. He begins associating with a parolee who had been in prison. He lives in this boarding house of this elderly lady, and he borrows her car, and she's thinking there's something really, really wrong with this guy. So at this point, we're seeing him getting into a lot of illegal stuff. He works in a place, and he steals their food. He gets the keys, so if he doesn't have a place to go, he can go in and sleep at night. They don't know it, So he's getting in a lot of stuff here. Well, so you see the whole psychopathic personality really beginning to grow at this point. You didn't see it as a child. You didn't see it as a teenager, but what you saw was a lot of fantasy. And life is not working out. And after he breaks up with Marjorie, then you see a lot of the bitterness, loneliness, depression, So he goes back. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're saying that he basically turned into a psychopath after college.
Well, I think it started earlier. I think it started at least by his teen years. It's not that he was born into it, but as he was going around window peeking, he was developing the secret life of fantasy and window peeking, you see, and getting very excited about it. So he's developing that side of him, and in order to be able to do that, he has to find a way to shut down any feelings of guilt. And one of the things that Ted said, and you see this developing even more powerfully later on, he said there's no difference between humans and animals. Animals are alive, humans are alive. And people will shoot a big buck or an elk or something and put the head up on the wall. And he says that's horrible because those animals were living. And so it's like if people can kill animals, and human is an animal, and human is just an animal just as precious as a human, then why is it such a big deal to kill humans? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he's great. Go ahead.
I think I've understood what you're saying, but these personality traits of him, for example, shyness, coming from a religious family, bitterness, anger. I mean, it's still something you can find. I mean, many people have experienced these kind of things, but didn't go on to kill at least 30 women. Or 30.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, I mean, what the gender of the people are. Still, there has to be something unique about a person who turns into a monster, and a smart monster. I don't know.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. And Ted was not a monster. At that point, he was not a monster. He was not inhuman. He had a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't a pure psychopath at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, that's an excellent point, and it's very true. A person, I mean, people who are shy don't become killers because they're shy. People who get into pornography don't become killers because they're in pornography. You know? These things that Ted went through did not cause him to kill. What they did, they built up a desire for him to experience. And what he wanted to experience, he was into a lot of the window peeking and the pornographic stuff. And he wanted to experience more of the real thing. Now, the real thing was not killing. He was not in killing. The real thing was to get as close to actually raping a woman as possible. And perhaps raping a woman, because it was the next step in what was getting to be exciting. When he gets depressed and angry and lonely, that's when you go out at night and follow women and that type of thing. You see what I'm saying? So he's not a killer yet. Oh, he's not a killer. But he comes back, goes back to his parents, his grandparents, comes back, gets involved with the Art Fletcher campaign. And he does a good job for Fletcher, is his driver, and reads some of his political speeches. Fletcher loses the election. So he goes back to Philadelphia a second time, and this time he's going to go to Temple University. So you've got a guy, again, who is very lonely and has a lot of anger, and he's looking for an identity. He's looking for some way to fit in and some way to become someone. And I asked Ed, I said, what were you after? And he says, I thought I could get a law degree without having to obtain my bachelor's degree first. So he goes back there, and we have an indication that sometime either this trip or the trip before he went back, and he did try to rape a girl, and she got away. And so he swore he's never going to do that again. But this time he goes back, and this is 1969. And Memorial Day of 1969, he has spent about one semester at Temple University, and he's going to come back out west again. So he goes up, and he's been spending some time up in New York on 34th Street and other places like this, in the girly stores, girly shops. It's all sexual. And so he picks up a couple of girls off New Jersey Beach, Memorial Day, 1969. And I'm not sure the guys he used, what he said to them, to get them to come with him. But they came with him, and he finds a place, he finds a place to pull off, and he rapes them and kills them. Okay. Now that's the big turning point. See, the majority of people with the same characteristics Ted had at that point, before killing the two victims, would never have gone on to kill.
Yes.
The huge, big turning point was when he killed those two. And I've talked to other people who killed victims. And once they killed the first one, everything changes. Everything changes. And now, you'll hear guys say, if they rape a girl, she can get some therapy and she'll be okay. It's an excuse, but that's what some of them say. But they cannot say that if you kill a girl, that there's a way to undo that. You can't do that, you know.
Yes.
So he comes back out west. He's killed these two girls, and he said they were the first. He comes out west. That's when he meets Liz Kendall at the Sandpiper little cafe up in the student district, University of Washington, and starts up a relationship with her. Now, he is in such a habit now of going out at night and following victims, although he's not victimizing yet, not killing victims yet, as far as we know. He's out there at night. And in fact, later on when he gets picked up in Utah, or in Florida, I guess, he gets picked up, and he calls Liz, and he tells her that this thing in him is like her alcohol addiction. He said he would find himself following some girl at night across campus in a university, and he wouldn't want to be doing it. He'd tell himself he shouldn't be doing it, but he couldn't stop. See what I mean?
And this happened after the first murders. It's like a power.
This happened. Yeah, possibly. This is after the first two murders. Mm-hmm. So, in essence, he's addicted to the pornographic stuff. He's addicted to going out at night, pretending that he is having this love affair and such. You know? Mm-hmm. And so, in essence, after the first two, and he meets Liz, and he settles down to some degree, and there's a whole story there. He settles down. You know, he's showing a lot of depression, a lot of pain, a lot of loneliness, you know, which the pure psychopath isn't supposed to be showing. The belief is the pure psychopath doesn't have those emotions, but Ted did, you know. And then things with Liz fall apart, and so it's a very strong love-hate affair. Mm-hmm. And then Ted graduates college. Liz puts him through college, graduates college, and he is being very sexually aggressive towards some girls. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. And then Marjorie comes back into the picture. Mm-hmm. Marjorie comes back, and Ted is totally different now. He seemed very inferior when she first knew him, but now he seemed confident. And so, on one hand, Ted is, you got three things going at the same time. One is Ted is going out with some girls he knows up there and is getting sexually involved and is getting aggressive sexually with them. Another is Ted is still going with Liz and telling her he'll marry her when he gets a job and can earn a living. And third, he's getting back together again with Marjorie, saying he'd like to marry her. And then in Christmas time, in 1973, Marjorie comes up, and this is all in my book. Marjorie comes up, and Ted and Marjorie get engaged. So Ted's going to be married. Mm-hmm. She flies back home, and Ted doesn't contact her he goes right back to Liz. And he told me that Liz was just a breath of fresh air. But now you have a pretty strong psychopath. He has a habit of pornography. He has a habit of window peeking. He is into a lot of sexual fantasy and likely homicide fantasy. You know?
Yes.
But still, he was hoping to find somebody because he didn't want Liz as a politician's wife. He said she wouldn't do. He found that Marjorie was not the one he was looking for. So she climbs on the plane, flies back New Year's Day. Within a few days, he attacks his first victim, and he goes on and kills after that. Numerous victims after that. So now he's a complete psychopath. Did you see how it develops stage by stage?
Yes, and it happens very slowly, and it's not the explosive cocktail you expect. For example, in what happened in Richard Ramirez's Knife.
Right.
Much more like, of course, he was a sociopath, not a psychopath. But you could expect him to turn like that. With Bundy, it's a bit more, head scratching.
Yeah.
It's
That
like
came on
you don't have
slowly
something very
and-
explosive,
Right.
very dramatic.
Yeah. Yep. Came on more slowly.
Yeah.
And the first big change was when he thought he wanted to rape someone.